Hello everyone, welcome back to the channel. Today we're talking about a structure that sounds impressive on paper, but falls apart when you look at it closely. Iran's so-called 80-meter deep bunker has been presented as an ultimate shield, a last resort fortress designed to survive anything. But when we strip away the propaganda and focus on modern warfare realities, this bunker is far less useful than it appears. At first glance, depth sounds like safety. 80 meters underground sounds extreme. For decades, military planners believed that going deeper was the best defense against air attacks. During the Cold War, depth meant survival against conventional bombs. That logic no longer holds in the same way. Modern weapons are not limited to surface destruction. Bunker-buster munitions are specifically designed to penetrate deep underground before detonating. These weapons don't rely on raw blast power alone. They use kinetic energy, hardened casings, and delayed fuses to punch through layers of earth and reinforced concrete. An 80-meter bunker might have been impressive in the 1980s. Today, it is a known quantity. Once the depth is known or estimated, engineers can design weapons specifically to defeat it. Depth is no longer a mystery. It is a targeting parameter. Another issue is predictability. A deep bunker is fixed. It cannot move. Once it is located, it becomes a permanent target. Satellites, seismic sensors, thermal imaging, and signal intelligence all make hiding large underground facilities extremely difficult. Even if the bunker itself survives an initial strike, that does not mean it remains functional. Modern warfare focuses on systems, not just structures. Power lines, ventilation shafts, communication cables, and access tunnels are all vulnerabilities. You don't need to destroy the bunker to neutralize it. Ventilation is one of the biggest weaknesses of deep underground facilities. Humans cannot survive without air circulation. Ventilation shafts must reach the surface. These shafts are narrow, fragile, and extremely hard to protect. A single well-placed strike can turn an 80-meter bunker into a sealed tomb. Power is another problem. Deep bunkers require massive amounts of electricity. Lighting, air filtration, cooling systems, computers, and communications all depend on continuous power. Backup generators help, but fuel storage is limited. Once fuel runs out, the bunker becomes uninhabitable. Heat buildup is often overlooked. Underground facilities trap heat. The deeper you go, the harder it is to remove that heat. Modern electronics generate enormous thermal output. Without active cooling, equipment fails and humans cannot operate for long periods. Communication is also a major limitation. Radio signals struggle to penetrate deep underground. Long cables and relay systems are required. These links are vulnerable. Disrupt the communication network and the bunker becomes isolated and blind. There is also the issue of entrances and exits. No bunker operates without access points. Personnel, supplies, and maintenance crews must move in and out. These access points are usually heavily guarded, but they are still surface-level weaknesses. Block or destroy them, and the bunker is effectively neutralized. Psychology matters too. Living deep underground for extended periods places enormous stress on personnel. Lack of natural light, isolation, constant noise from machinery, and the knowledge of being trapped all degrade morale and decision-making. Modern military strategy values flexibility over static defense. An 80-meter bunker is the definition of static. It cannot adapt to changing battlefield conditions. It cannot relocate. It cannot surprise the enemy. Once discovered, it becomes a liability rather than an asset. Precision weapons make depth less relevant. Instead of carpet bombing, modern militaries use precise strikes aimed at critical nodes. Destroy the command center, disable the data links, or cut off logistics, and the bunker loses its purpose. Another key issue is cost. Building an 80-meter deep bunker is incredibly expensive. Excavation, reinforcement, blast doors, life support systems, and security all require enormous resources. That money could be spent on mobile defenses, cyber capabilities, or distributed command systems that are far harder to eliminate. There is also the myth of invulnerability. Propaganda often portrays deep bunkers as indestructible. This can create dangerous overconfidence. Leaders may believe they are safe and take greater risks, assuming the bunker will protect them. History shows that false confidence often leads to strategic disaster. Depth does not protect against isolation. A bunker cut off from the outside world cannot influence events. Wars are not won by hiding. They are won by coordination, communication, and adaptability. A sealed underground facility contributes little to those goals. Seismic weapons and earth-penetrating explosives add another layer of vulnerability. Even if a bunker is not directly destroyed, repeated shockwaves can collapse internal structures, damage equipment, and make the environment unlivable. Then there is the issue of intelligence leakage. Large construction projects are almost impossible to hide. Satellite imagery, human intelligence, and open-source analysis often reveal bunker locations long before they are completed. Once known, secrecy is gone forever. Modern warfare also includes cyber operations. A bunker filled with computers and digital systems is vulnerable to cyber attacks. You don't need to physically enter the bunker to disable its function. Corrupt the data, disrupt the software, or shut down the networks, and the bunker becomes useless. Another overlooked factor is escalation dynamics. A bunker designed to protect leadership may actually encourage adversaries to use more extreme weapons. If conventional strikes are insufficient, escalation becomes more likely. In that sense, the bunker increases risk rather than reducing it. Deep bunkers are also poor at dealing with unconventional threats. Chemical infiltration through ventilation systems, electromagnetic attacks on electronics, and acoustic weapons can all compromise underground facilities without collapsing them. There is also the issue of redundancy. If too much is concentrated in one bunker, its loss becomes catastrophic. Modern military doctrine emphasizes dispersal. Multiple small, mobile command centers are harder to target and easier to replace. Even natural factors work against deep bunkers. Earthquakes, flooding, and groundwater pressure pose constant risks. Maintaining structural integrity at such depth requires continuous monitoring and repair. In wartime, that maintenance becomes extremely difficult. An 80-meter bunker also signals fear. It sends a message that leadership expects to be attacked and plans to hide. That can undermine public confidence and project weakness rather than strength. In modern conflicts, visibility and influence matter. A leader sealed underground cannot communicate effectively with the public or the military. Delays, miscommunication, and outdated information become inevitable. The idea of the ultimate bunker is rooted in an outdated understanding of war. It assumes a single decisive strike, followed by survival underground. Modern wars are prolonged, complex, and multi-domain. A bunker does not address that reality. Air power is only one threat. Space-based surveillance, cyber warfare, electronic warfare, and economic pressure all bypass physical depth entirely. You cannot dig your way out of a cyber attack or an information blockade. Another critical weakness is time. A bunker is designed for short-term survival, not indefinite operation. Supplies run out, equipment degrades, people make mistakes. The deeper the bunker, the harder it is to resupply discreetly. Even if the bunker survives, emerging afterward is another challenge. Surface infrastructure may be destroyed, roads may be blocked, control over territory may be lost. Survival underground does not guarantee relevance afterward. From a strategic perspective, investing heavily in a deep bunker suggests a defensive mindset. It focuses on survival rather than deterrence or resilience. Deterrence today relies on the ability to respond, not just endure. Mobile missile systems, distributed command networks, and decentralized leadership are far more effective in modern warfare. They complicate enemy planning and reduce the payoff of any single strike. The bunker also creates a single point of failure. If compromised, everything inside is lost at once. Redundancy is minimal. In contrast, distributed systems fail gradually, not catastrophically. There is also the issue of intelligence during conflict. Real-time data is crucial. A bunker isolated by damaged communications cannot keep up with fast-moving events. Decisions made on outdated information are often worse than no decisions at all. Historically, fortifications have always followed this pattern. Castles, trenches, and bunkers dominate for a time, then become obsolete as technology advances. The 80-meter bunker is simply the latest version of an old idea nearing the end of its usefulness. The psychological comfort of depth should not be confused with actual security. Feeling safe underground does not mean you are safe. Modern warfare is about reach, precision, and information dominance. Another major flaw is the assumption that attacks are purely physical. Economic sanctions, diplomatic isolation, and information warfare can render a bunker irrelevant without firing a single missile. Even the construction itself creates vulnerabilities. Years of excavation produce waste, noise, and logistical footprints that are hard to conceal. Adversaries often know about these bunkers long before they are operational. In the end, the bunker becomes more of a symbol than a weapon. It looks powerful in state media and speeches, but symbols do not stop modern weapons or modern strategies. An 80-meter bunker may survive an explosion, but it cannot survive irrelevance. War has moved beyond the idea that hiding deep underground guarantees safety or control. The real weakness of the bunker is not its depth. It is the belief that depth alone equals security. That belief is outdated, dangerous, and increasingly disconnected from how wars are actually fought. So when we hear claims about invincible underground fortresses, it's important to look beyond the numbers. 80 meters sounds impressive, but in modern warfare, it doesn't mean much. What matters now is adaptability, dispersion, communication, and resilience. On all of those fronts, a massive deep bunker performs poorly. That is why Iran's 80-meter bunker, despite the hype, is far less useful than it appears. It is a relic of old thinking in a world that has already moved on.